Hello from us here in the French countryside. 3 videos ago, Philippe began restoring our old Thwaites dumper built somewhere between the 60s and the 80s, which we've been using for the groundworks in front of and behind the barns as part of our project to regulate ongoing water issues. Although the dumper had been working hard, moving tons of soil from behind the old barn to the future pond area, it was clear she was in desperate need of attention. This was Philippe's first time taking apart an engine, so he spent evening after evening flipping through manuals, searching online for the right parts, and diving deep into research. Through that process and carefully dismantling the entire engine, he discovered, thankfully, that the engine wasn't broken, just extremely worn down. A relief, yes, but it didn't make the job any smaller. So he got to work, thoroughly scrubbing each part, fine-tuning them, and putting everything back together with care to ensure a smooth running engine later. In the last video of the dumper restoration, Philippe had assembled everything up to the cylinders, things were going smoothly, and he had made sure the 2 cylinder heads were perfectly aligned so both the exhaust and inlet manifolds could be mounted correctly. This kind of job might seem totally unrelated to our renovation work, but having the dumper back in full working order is absolutely essential. Without it, we can't move forward with the groundworks that need to be finished before winter when mud season returns in full force. Once that job outside is done, we'll shift our focus to renovating the barn we plan to live in temporarily so we can finally start work on the main house. By then, the weather won't matter as much because we'll have solved most of our water issues. For us, it's always made sense to tackle the outside jobs first before diving into the roof and interiors.
I'm always surprised that I still know which bolts and nuts go where. It's so interesting to see this work, because before I wouldn't know what it all did, but now I understand the way the piston works, the way these work. Now these 2 push rods go back in. Okay. I'll show you in a close-up the difference between this and this. This has a spring in between big washers. This one has 1 original big washer left, and then they filled it up with those carton seals to get the same thickness as a spring, but it doesn't work the same because the spring ensures this seal gets pushed and this one as well, so this is just loose. Well, I did it now differently, so it's a little bit better, but it's not as it should be. And they tried to solve the leak by putting rubber seals inside, but there's nothing to hold the rubber seals, so they just shift about. So, and now I understand why this engine was covered in oil. There were leaks everywhere, but if you don't put the right stuff, then you have leaks everywhere. Next up, the washer for this one. This is the oil feed line for the rockers on top. So, bolts, cleaned it up, new copper crush ring on the outside, then this and then the other one closes it. You can go on about. I'm gonna wait for Claude so he can have a feel if they're tightened well enough. They need to be tightened to 8 kilograms, so Claude knows by feel how much it is. Hop.
Allez.
Attends, je regarde, ok, c'est en train de le faire.
Allez, essaie de me mettre la clé
Ok,
en place.
on tourne.
Allez.
Oh, c'est bien que je regarde. Il y a un chiffon dedans.
Ah, tu vois? Pas bien ça, je suis bon, hein.
Non. Oh là là. Bonjour.
Alors, Romain?
Je vais aller chercher Odin et on va chez le coiffeur.
Oui, mais on va plus le connaître là, hein.
Ah oui, oui.
C'est bien. Qu'est-ce que... Ça veut pas me dire que monsieur Paul,
C'est le roi.
allô? Oui? 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 Eh bien, écoute.
So here you can see a little bit of the soot coming out. Okay, time to put this one back. I took it off again because we had to drill out a stock bolt in here, so that's done, so I can put this back. This is where the alternator mounts to, and this is where the starter mounts to. Yesterday I also cleaned the injectors, so these are nice and shiny, and today or maybe tomorrow we'll see, we're gonna test those and see if they're still good. It's such a difference with everything cleaned up. This, I don't know if you guys can remember, but everything was covered in oil and mud and just beyond. So once I'm done with most of it, we're gonna put it outside, because we need to change some of the supports that they changed from the original, so I'm gonna try to bring it back to original a little bit. Then I'm gonna power wash it as well to get everything off. Put a good degreaser on it, power wash everything, so if we have new leaks or something, at least I'll be able to see it. Oh, this is heavy. Okay, the alternator, I've given it a little clean as well. Let's put back the supports for it.
As you might remember Philippe mentioning, parts of the dumper had been modified before we bought it, and not exactly in the best way. The rear section had been welded shut instead of bolted, which made it nearly impossible to access the engine when needed. And since this is an air-cooled engine, sealing it off like that wasn't just impractical, it was a bad idea. Originally, a Thwaites dumper had an open rear section to allow airflow and easy maintenance. On top of that, the rebuilt hydraulic and fuel tanks had been mounted with flimsy brackets. At one point, the vibrations caused the hydraulic tank to break and it fell onto the alternator, causing even more damage. So Philippe's goal now is to rebuild the back end as close to the original design as possible, restoring proper access to the engine and making sure it can breathe like it's supposed to.
Now this will be a lot easier to work on it. That's what I meant by normally this is not welded on. Amazing. So I had to butcher this one to get that off.
Get the car.
Okay, Mr. Pump, which has been thrown around.
Finally, Philippe turned his attention to the dumper's fuel pump, something that had already proven to be quite the headache in the last video. Dismantling it was fiddly work, and since it was his first time tackling a pump like this, it took time to figure out how it functioned and to replace the necessary parts.
Okay, this is perfect. This rack and pinion have to be aligned. That's what I just did. Let's clean these parts up because they're caked and I don't know what. Voilà, clean.
In the end, he would dismantle and reassemble it no less than 3 times before getting it just right.
Alright, so this has been rebuilt. I'm quite happy with it. So this rack moves very smooth. There's less play. Extended plane shank is fitted in the right hand position. So if you look at this, then this one should be here. Voila! This is what a rebuilt pump, except this that I need to fix, looks like. It's a big difference from this pump. Might as well rebuild this one too, because look how caked it is. And here it has been open as well. The bellow is missing. Right, I found the right bolts. English bolts, 5/16 BSF thread or something, I think, and they're right now, so I'm happy. The reason I didn't have any is, like I said before, is because the hydraulic tank fell on top of it and they all broke, which was not pleasant. Okay, this is a good thing. Very good. There you go. That's the thing, the same thing again. Here you have the rubber bellows. The one on here is missing, so all dirt gets in. So that's why I'm cleaning them out with the tools that I have. I think the best thing to clean something like this, you have those ultrasonic beds, I think with some product, you put it in, it will be 100% clean, but I'm doing with what I have. Okay. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a part of a spring embedded in that seal. That's what holds the delivery valve. So like I said, it's good that I opened up this pump because the spring has totally disintegrated and spread its parts everywhere it shouldn't be spread. So now it's a matter of cleaning up every part. So it's not because this was rusted a little bit. So clean it up, dunk it in diesel fuel, put it back in. So this delivery valve. I'm gonna take my new pieces I have. Luckily this includes this broken spring and a new seal, so we're lucky. And that's about it. I think that's broken. Okay, so I've got my measurements here. This is the shape I want. So let's start cutting. Okay, so this is what we want. Or almost. You see how easy it is to make something out of cardboard first, and then you trace it onto your metal. At least then you're pretty sure it's gonna be okay. 16 and a half. 16 and a half, so this should be it. Okay. This is all left over from the dumper, so I'm gonna try to use as much metal as I can from it. I point welded it a little bit so the support is on like the other one, and now I'm gonna weld this so we can make holes and attach the plate on here. You can see those 2 holes over there. I'm gonna make 2 here, and that's how the hydraulic and the fuel tank used to sit. So now they will have proper supports, almost like original. I don't know exactly 100% how original was, but this will be a lot better. Alright, second support done, and now with space for the alternator, so we don't have things falling on it anymore. So this looks pretty good. I'm gonna take it a little bit more easy, as you have seen. I made a little error when playing around with the mow raider, that remote controlled robot. It flung a stone at me against my knee and it had to be stitched. It's not bad, but it did hurt. Is it my fault? Yes, because maybe I was standing too close and I was trying to do some edges, so it was a little bit tilted forwards, so it had the opportunity to flick a stone at me. And I was wearing shorts. Normally I always wear the long pants, but I was doing small stuff, so... Hoe denk je aan? Ja.
With the dumper restoration nearing its next phase, Philippe turned to the next preparation task, getting things ready for when soil can finally be moved again, one step closer to the works ahead.
Alright, let's move back, try to flatten it a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's almost the end, and here with the excavator I was getting more and more stuck in it already, so I'm leaving this alone. Do this one, do the smaller one over there, and then maybe look at the main pad going up. If that's in a good shape, then we're ready to start again if the weather holds up. and the dumper runs. It's actually one of our subscribers who said I should use the bucket more to flatten the ground, so when it rains it just pearls off, I'm gonna say, instead of soaking into the ground. So hopefully this helps a little bit. Not perfect, but I think I'm straightening it out. I'm flattening it a little bit, so if it rains, hopefully the rain just disperses off the pad. I have some soil left over. I'm gonna take my little wheelbarrow and fill in some ruts. That's the mistake I made, and that I'm still paying for now. Is sometimes I took another pad because this was too muddy, and I made little driving ruts in the garden, and it makes life difficult for the big mower and for the smaller mower. So I'm filling them all out, evening it a little bit. It's not that I want the perfect golf course, but yeah, ruts going 10 centimeters deep for the robots, for me. Even when I'm sitting on my big one, I'm bouncing like this.
Je moet even wachten, het is nog niet.
Oh.
Dat is June.
Papa boom.
Er is donderrood in. Ja.
Oh.
Heb je het gekookt?
Hè?
Nee. Ja, het komt.
Goed.